Hey guys, welcome to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, and I am so excited to bring this new series to you called The Dark Side of Competition. If you recall, we had Dr. Kori Propst, a health psychologist, on for a series, and she talked about body image, body dysmorphia. And I thought it'd be a great idea if Adam and I bring that down to a coaching level, maybe expand it a little bit into some of the things that we as competitors face every single time we're planning a contest prep. So I think one of the most important things that I could draw from my conversations with Kori, Adam, is that a lot of people come into this sport or decide to do a contest because they want to, quote, fix themselves. They think, man, if I just get lean enough, if I just win a trophy or I win a pro card to do this, I'll have so much more self-worth. I'll be loved and adored, and everybody will think I'm amazing. And that's a pretty tough house of cards to build a competition season on because, number one, it just may not quite happen. But I would love to hear, you work with so many competitors, so many bikini and figure competitors especially. How often do you see this, and how bad can it get when people are doing this for those self-worth type values instead of just the sheer nature of competition?
So I don't see it as often as I used to. I think that a lot of people have really came out in the open and talked about this. And, sometimes it used to be like people felt shamed if they were not successful. And you've got to think, these people just finished a competition. They're very prideful. So this used to be something harder to talk about. And I don't know who the first pioneer was to come out and say, I struggle with this, but thank you for doing that, because somebody has to be the first to come clean and say, I'm struggling with this. But you led me to think about something you had said, self-worth. Like, this is something you can control, and you can gain self-worth from competing. But when you get into people will like me and people will love me, I think people go into this and think those things, but really we're in complete opposite control of those things. So those things might happen, absolutely, especially if your self-worth goes up. But if you're expecting those things, those are just variables in a math equation, and we can't guarantee that those things will happen. So if you're doing it for those reasons, which might be the wrong reasons, you could really set yourself up for failure because it's just a non-controllable outcome.
Well, I don't think anybody could even admit that without a lot of deep thought. And, I'll be the first to say, I got into the sport, because I thought it was great. I was watching Conan the Barbarian movies, Rocky, that kind of thing. And every boy's ideation is to be like that. But years and years later, with more self-reflection, I realized, you know what? I was that chubby little kid who looked at the high school quarterback or grade school quarterback, whenever it was, and saw the attention he was getting, and I didn't have that. And so even though I didn't understand it back then, those were absolutely the subconscious thoughts where, man, if I could just lose a little bit of body fat, gain a little muscle, I was this little prepubescent kid at home doing push-ups and sit-ups because I wanted to change myself to become something different. And luckily, there are some positive parts to that. I mean, my entire career in health science, but initially that has some good elements. Like, you want to be the best version of yourself, but there is also a dark side to that, where if that's all you keep pursuing is to be better and better and better, and thinking that there's some pinnacle you eventually reach and then you're good enough, that's the foundation for a lot of psychological trauma for the rest of your life. And again, I think a lot of competitors would have that same experience where they don't even think that, but if they go a little bit deeper, they might start seeing some of those symptoms.
Yeah, you really have to find your why and why you're doing this. And are you in control of the potential good outcomes that can happen from this? And if it's really, gaining what people think about you, that's probably not the best way to go about this. You're going to lose motivation that way. It really has to be inside driven.
Well, I'm glad you ended there because in our next episode, I want to talk about that. I've recently listened to a couple of podcasts with social scientists talking about some of the good and the bad elements of this. It's a two-edged sword. So you guys stay tuned. We got a lot more to cover in this series, the dark side of competition.